So I promised that I would start making more long form video content. And something came up last night that I felt would be a good topic to share and discuss. And that is that even after all of this time of 2 years of doing what a lot of people and I myself call the work of digging in to what's going on internally within me and piecing it all together and studying it and figuring out how that causes me to relate to everything else around me and perceive it. I still have these moments of pure torture in a way. These moments that come up within me where I have an overwhelming sense of melancholy, of sadness, of this longing and desire for another. And it can be rough and intense. Maybe you've experienced this for yourself. And it can be so tough to work through. And the past version of me would often seek the attention or company of another to help work through this. It was almost like I desperately needed another to be there with me, usually a woman, to help me work through these moments. And they weren't very common necessarily in a relationship for me, because I always had that constant, I guess, reassurance for the most part that someone loved me, that I mattered, that I was important to another. And this somehow satisfied my ego, my internal judge or critic or whatever it may be was content most often. Unless something like really dramatic happened, it caused me to feel otherwise. But more often than not, I was okay. And this came up for me again last night. And it's these moments that have taught me the most about how important it is to cultivate that intense self-love and compassion and the ability to nurture one's self. And I started to reflect back upon how this came to work within myself and improve within myself over time. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, when did this start to shift for me? It's cold out here in Florida this morning. And when did it start to shift? When did it start to change? And they don't last as long, and they're not as intense or frequent as they once were. They were on repetitive fire coming out of the breakup, for sure, out of the relationship. And it's taken me quite a while to get to a place where they don't come up as long or as much, and I'm able to work through it. I'm able to sit with it and just be with it and surrender to it in a way, and just have a lot of compassion for myself, hug myself, show love for myself, start to have those conversations, those reaffirming positive messages within myself. And it's such a relief to realize I've made so much progress with this. And so back to what changed this, or what started to change this for myself. So I've realized that part of me has always, and maybe this is the same for you, part of me has always been looking for a mother. Not the mother that I have, the biological mother that I've been given, but I wanted something better, something more, a more meaningful connection. I wanted maybe one of those TV moms we saw growing up in the sitcoms. That's the kind of mom I think I wanted, in a way. And over time, I've come to the truth that this is an unreasonable expectation, or was an unreasonable expectation for me to have of my own mother. She is who she is. She's been through what she's been through. She perceives the world based on all of this, and she's never going to be that mom, that mother I wanted and have always wanted. When I realized this, it also made me realize that I was always looking for this in my partners, in my romantic partners, in the women that I was with. On one level or another, more, apparent than others, depending on the relationship, but there was a deep part of me that was always looking for mothering from my partner. And this dynamic was dysfunctional. Wasn't fair to them. Now I realize wasn't fair to them at all, and led to a lot of the misunderstanding and issues that we had. I'm certain of it. And like I said, my own mother can't be this fantasy mother that I desired, that I've always longed for. Of course, my significant partner, my romantic partner, my lover can't be that either. Right? It's so silly, but it's the truth. It's my truth, and I have a feeling that it may be the truth for a lot of you out there. So for me, it was a mom. For you, maybe if you're a woman, and it could go either way, maybe you're doing the same for a father, where you really desire a father. Or maybe if you're a guy, you desire father. I don't think it's really determined upon by sex necessary or gender. I think it's the one that we wanted love from the most when we were little and felt like we didn't get it for whatever reason, whether that was truth or not, whether you were abused or whether you were neglected. There was something missing. You felt like something was missing, or you feel like something is missing now. And I felt that way for so freaking long. And so then, so once I figured those two things out, one, I was always looking for a mother. Two, I was looking for it even in my romantic partners. Then came the question, if I can't get this from my mom, my true biological mother, or from a partner, how do I fulfill this need for myself, right? And you could develop relationships with motherly or fatherly figures, and that does help, and those people can actively participate in that kind of relationship, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, and that's good, and that can help in a big way. And if you observe others, you may see these type of relationships developing between others, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You can have as many moms as you want, as many dads as you want, but you gotta be careful with this, and gotta be in the right place in your healing for this kind of thing, because even those can become dysfunctional and even inappropriate if you're not in the right place, you're not in the right headspace, or that person isn't a healthy person, isn't a healthy version of themselves, and is respectful and honest and direct and all of those things that we really want in a mother or father, right? So, but that is an option. But I wanted something more dependable, because I've realized that the one I'm going to have my entire life is right here. Right here. The only one I'm going to have that my entire life, from the first breath to the last, is right here. I don't even have that with my identical twin brother. And it's not a reasonable expectation. We're all going to get sick. We're all going to die someday. It's going to happen. So I wanted something more substantial, more dependable, that I could really turn to. So this came to the whole idea and concept I played with around, and actually started this idea from a shaman. I learned it from watching some of his content, and it was about the dynamic of the feminine and the masculine, and that we all have the ability to embody, to display, to activate, stimulate, cultivate, whatever you want to say, that part of us, that we all have a masculine and a feminine within us. All right? So once we are open to this idea, and we believe it as such, then it came to me like, so how do I play with that? And there's a couple of things that I did. I mean, one of the things I started to play with early on, and it was a big help for me to start cultivating self-love for myself, within myself, something I had lacked for so long, and was willing to, that conditional love, where I was willing to sacrifice my love for myself for breadcrumbs of love from another, was to start listening to love songs as if they were written for me, by me, to me. It was a simple little shift in my perception whenever I heard love songs. I did this because love songs were constantly playing where I worked, and they were driving me insane. And to stop that, I had to shift my perception and say, well, what if I shifted it from being bringing up and stimulating memories of my past relationship and ruminating about my ex to something positive? So I shifted that perception and started slowly, but over time, every love song that I hear, almost every one, I perceive it as written by me, for me, to me. And there's a part of me inside, my inner children, whatever you want to call it, my shadows, that celebrate this now whenever I do this. And it just stimulates this warm feeling within, and I love it. I mean, there's sometimes where I'll just sit there and listen to them, and sometimes I'll even cry during these and just love on myself. And there's nothing wrong with that. 70% of my subscribers are men. So chances are you're a guy who's watching this. And maybe people have told you in the past that you can't cry, or it's weak to cry, or to show vulnerability, or to show any aspects in that realm. And it's bullshit. It's total bullshit. And that's coming from people who have bitter hearts, who are scared to venture into their own aspects of softness and femininity. It's okay to get in touch with that side of yourself. Doesn't make you weak, doesn't make you a girl or anything like that kind of stuff. You are who you are. And it's a shame that we in our culture, and even our parents or whoever, made us feel that way. It's just BS. And some of the strongest men I've been around, whole, content, complete men, can totally shift back and forth between masculine and feminine energies or qualities or emotions or whatever you want to call it. And that's what you can do. We are human beings capable of expressing the full range of emotions. That's what we are. That's what we were created to be. And our failure to understand this and to grasp this truth and exercise it keeps us feeling restricted, keeps us feeling trapped, feeling like we lack ease, that we lack peace inside, because we can't authentically be who we are in any moment. And we can stop that. I stopped it for myself in a big way. And I'm not saying it doesn't come up from time to time. I'm 47 years old. There were many years where I had a totally different outlook on life and perception of life. And some of that is still in me and still working its way out. And that's going to happen with you as well. So be patient with it. Just because this stuff comes up from time to time doesn't mean you're not making progress. Doesn't mean that you've changed. We all can change. We're all constantly changing. So back to the feminine. So I realized, even with the love song thing, like when I was picturing it, help me kind of perceive it as that, I recognized it in a feminine voice, in a feminine energy. And that energy was within me, cultivating that feminine side of myself. I started to do this and do more of it, and realized how much it helped me. in a big way. And cultivating this feminine from a romantic perspective for love for yourself, especially with us men who are more masculine, can really help you and help me to develop compassion, to develop the ability to nurture myself, because it was something that I always contributed to that side, and that's okay. So I could start to be that for myself. And the same thing, I suspect, can be done for a woman, within a woman who's seeking a father figure, a father's love, that strength, that determination, whatever aspects of the masculine that a woman may be desiring, she can cultivate within herself and deliver for herself over time. So then when it's shifted that I could realize it in like a romantic sense or perception, then I started to cultivate it more in like that motherly sense, like developing an internal mom of my own that's part of me. And this is where a big like breakthrough came for me, because I was able to be my own dream mom. As crazy as that sounds. And I really started to work on this even more in depth with the practice of inner child work and shadow work, where I went inside internally, connected with old versions of myself that needed a mom, that felt like they were missing out on a mom, and gave them what they needed. They needed to be held. They needed to be listened to. They needed to be understood. They needed to be reassured. All of these things, my little inner boy from multiple ages was asking of me, was needing of me, and never got. This is often what we call reparenting. And you can do both. You can even shift in the masculine and be your own father. And this was huge in helping me progress through some of the most challenging aspects of recovery, of going deep and revisiting some of these old wounds that had always been present, that were always being stimulated by a partner, by a situation, and causing me to react in a way that led to the dysfunction, the toxicity in my relationships, that led to the codependency that existed between us. And it's gotten so much better because of it. Now, I've also realized at this point that for myself, and I think again that this may be the case for others, that as a man, I needed to be able to shift into the feminine and sit in the feminine and experience that for some time, to give myself the nurturing, the motherly love that I desired. And then over time, once I became very comfortable with that and I became at ease with that, I naturally shifted back towards the masculine. And this is still occurring within me, where I'm able to be more masculine in that side, more comfortable with that side of myself, and not abandon the feminine. It's not about nothing about healing and recovery, from my understanding at this point, is about cutting out, dismissing, or abandoning any parts of ourselves. For me, in my experience, and what I feel has given me the most relief is integration and acceptance of all parts of me. That includes the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever label other people have put on that aspect of me, or I've put on myself for whatever reason. And by doing this, life has been so much easier. I've been so much more open from my heart with others when communicating, when coaching, when serving them. So much more understanding, so much more forgiving, so many different things. Even bold and express so much more courage in standing up for what I want from others, and being bold and intentional with my actions and with others, and venturing into areas that I was scared of before, venturing into fear, and realizing that fear is not what I thought it was. It was not to run away from. It's not to run away from. It's to walk towards, run towards, embrace. And the more and more I do this, the better I feel about this experience, this life. And other people can see it in me and can share that with me, that they've seen the shift, the multiple shifts that have occurred within me, and how I relate to them shows this. And maybe the same can happen with you. I firmly believe that if I can be where I'm at on my journey at this point, so can you. And I want this so badly for everyone. I want everyone to awaken to what's going on within themselves and get to a point where we all feel whole and content and complete, and don't have the desperate need for someone else or something else. We can just relax and breathe and be at ease and at peace and have fun, right? Go after the experiences we want with the people we want and all of those things. But so many years I was trapped in my own hell, and the hells of others. So I am feeling so grateful and blessed to be where I'm at, and have even realized that every one of those people that I had in my life in the past came around because they were exactly who I needed to learn the lesson that I needed to learn. Damn, I was so hard-headed. Some of the lessons I had to get over and over and over again, and still didn't listen to or take the message or internalize what I was supposed to learn. But I'm better now. I'm better with that. So I hope this makes sense. I hope others can relate to this. I hope that you too can find strength and courage and be bold and share your story and your experience freely with others, because this helps others to heal as well. And this isn't just for you. Doing this kind of stuff helps heal me as well, because we're exercising our voice. I'm exercising my voice. I'm putting myself out there. I'm creating a positive frequency and energy within myself, and hopefully that resonates across to you, even in a video format like this. So that's my message today. 30 minutes. Wow. If you hung in to the end, please like, subscribe, and share this. And I give you a lot of credit, because most people have such short attention spans. You deserve a pat on the back, and I love you for that, for sure. So men, don't be afraid to be feminine. Women, don't be afraid to be masculine, and develop both of these sides and become your perfect mother or father you've always wanted. Love you guys. Peace out.